His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received a cable of congratulations from His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa on Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne and the accompanying national events. His Royal Highness praised the country's comprehensive development in various fields thanks to the efforts of Team Bahrain, which draws from the visions of His Majesty the King to make more achievements for the country and its people and to reach the desired goals at all levels. His Royal Highness recalled the achievements of forefathers, which formed the base from which Bahrainis set out to create a prosperous present and future for future generations in accordance with the aspirations. His Royal Highness stressed the determination to achieve advancement and prosperity for the kingdom, pledging to continue to implement His Majesty's high directives, drawing inspiration from his wise vision and the roadmap towards a brighter and more prosperous future for the benefit and stability of the country and its people. His Royal Highness recalled with pride the sacrifices of the nation's fallen servicemen for the sake of this country, preserving its pride and defending truth and justice, stressing that their heroism and sacrifices will remain a shining light in the march of Bahrain and a timeless legacy that inspires future generations with the values of sacrifice and devotion. He added that the commemoration day comes as a national symbol expressing loyalty to their sacrifices, praying to Allah the Almighty to grant their souls eternal peace. His Royal Highness prayed to Allah the Almighty to grant His Majesty abundant health and happiness. His Majesty the King sent a reply cable of thanks to His Royal Highness, expressing pride in His Royal Highness's sentiments and thanks and appreciation. His Majesty also expressed pride in the honorable achievements of the homeland in all fields under His Majesty's reform project, which moved Bahrain to a new phase of progress, prosperity and development. His Majesty praised the role of His Royal Highness in the country's development achievements thanks to his continuous efforts of Team Bahrain in the spirit of determination and national will to achieve the aspirations and ambitions of the citizens. His Majesty recalled with pride the commemoration day and the memory of the fallen servicemen who are remembered with great reverence and loyalty, praying to Allah the Almighty to grant their souls eternal peace for their sacrifice in the fields of honor in defense of the homeland and the nation and its dignity. His Majesty stressed that Bahrain will never forget citizens who sacrificed their lives in defense of the nation and safeguarding its sovereignty and protecting its achievements. He prayed to Allah the Almighty to protect His Royal Highness. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received a cable of congratulations from Her Royal Highness, the wife of His Majesty the King and President of the Supreme Council for Women, the SCW, Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, on the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne and the accompanying national events. Her Royal Highness expressed pride and appreciation for the great civilizational achievements made in all fields under the comprehensive development process led by His Majesty the King to reach the highest levels of advancements in the kingdom, thanks to His Majesty's wisdom in a united society characterized by the values of loyalty and harmony based on national values. On the national occasion, Her Royal Highness reiterated to His Majesty thanks and gratitude for the national care of Bahraini women, which stems from the pioneering vision of His Majesty that led to numerous achievements and successes of the international construction process. She wished His Majesty good health and happiness and wished the kingdom further progress and prosperity under His Majesty's leadership. His Majesty sent a reply cable of thanks to Her Royal Highness and expressed deep gratitude and appreciation for her congratulations. His Majesty wished the kingdom and its people many happy returns. On this happy national occasion, His Majesty praised the great civilizational achievements made at all levels and the role of Her Royal Highness and her honorable national contributions at the SCW in empowering Bahraini women and realizing their aspirations and promoting their conscious and effective participation in the march of national action and the achieving comprehensive development. His Majesty recalled the memory of the fallen servicemen for their sacrifices in the fields of honor in defense of the homeland and the nation. His Majesty wished Her Royal Highness good health and happiness. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa received cables of congratulations from their Majesties, Highnesses and Excellencies, Kings, Emirs and Presidents of Arab, Islamic and friendly countries on the occasion of the Kingdom of Bahrain's National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. In their cables, the leaders expressed sincere congratulations to His Majesty on this national occasion. They conveyed their best wishes for His Majesty's good health and happiness, as well as continued progress and prosperity for the Kingdom of Bahrain and its people. On the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne and the accompanying national events, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa will patronize the Kingdom of Bahrain's celebration of the National Day and His Majesty the King's accession to the throne on Monday, December 16, 2024. His Majesty the King will deliver a royal speech to the citizens on this national occasion. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa issued Royal Decree 106 of 2024 appointing the President and members of the dispute resolution panels of the Bahrain International Commercial Court based on a proposal by the Prime Minister and following the approval of the Cabinet. John Paulson shall be appointed as President of Bahrain International Commercial Court. The following are appointed as members of the dispute resolution panels: Sir Christopher Greenwood, Vice President; Dato Mary Lim Thiam Swan; Sanjay Kishan Kaul; Sir Vivian Ramsey; Hai Taik Shin, Hank Schneiders, Judith Prakash, and Judge Fatma Faisal Hbail. His Majesty the King also issued Royal Decree 107 of 2024 transferring an Under-Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and National Economy based on a proposal by the Minister of Finance and National Economy and following the approval of the Cabinet. Maryam Adnan Abdullah Ansari, Under-Secretary for Land Transport and Post Affairs at the Ministry of Transportation and Telecommunications, is transferred to the position of Under-Secretary for National Economy at the Ministry of Finance and National Economy, replacing Osama bin Saleh Al-Alawi. His Majesty the King also issued Royal Decree 108 of 2024 appointing an Under-Secretary at the Ministry of Transportation and Telecommunications based on a proposal by the Minister of Transportation and Telecommunications and following the approval of the Cabinet. Fatma Abdullah Faras Al-Da'an, Director General of International Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is appointed as Under-Secretary for Land Transportation and Post Affairs at the Ministry of Transportation and Telecommunications, replacing Maryam Adnan Abdullah Ansari. His Majesty the King also issued Royal Decree 109 of 2024 appointing an Assistant Under-Secretary at the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture based on a proposal by the Minister of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture and following the approval of the Cabinet. Sabah Abdul Khaliq Isa Sabah, Director of Building Maintenance at the Ministry of Works, is appointed as Assistant Under-Secretary for Joint Municipal Services at the Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture, replacing Rawiya Khalifa Ahmed Al-Mannai. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa issued Edict 63 of 2024 appointing a director at the Ministry of Finance and National Economy based on a proposal by the Minister of Finance and National Economy. Sheikh Abdullah bin Ibrahim bin Abdullah Al Khalifa shall be appointed as the Director of International Relations at the Ministry of Finance and National Economy, replacing Sheikh Firas bin Abdul Rahman Al Khalifa. His Royal Highness also issued Edict 64 of 2024 appointing directors at the Institute of Public Administration, the IPA, based on a proposal by the Director General of IPA. The following individuals will retire from the IPA upon their request: Aida Ali bin Rajab, Director of Consultancy and Research Directorate, and Najm Yusuf Isa Salmin, Director of Assessment Directorate. The following individuals are appointed at the IPA: Iman Haidar Ali Haidar, Director of the Consultancy and Research Directorate, and Iman Salim Abdullah Salim, Director of the Assessment Directorate. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of the Board of Directors of Tamkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, affirmed Tamkeen's achievements in integrating the national workforce of Bahrain into the labour market and supporting their career development under the guidance of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. His Highness highlighted that the success of a range of programs launched in November last year has supported over 39,600 Bahrainis through job creation and career development in the private sector, aligning with the Kingdom's aspirations. He emphasized the Kingdom's commitment to implementing plans and programs and adopting initiatives that place citizens at the forefront of the labour market, as well as strengthening partnerships with the private sector to benefit both the Kingdom and its people. The Chief Executive of Tamkeen Maha Mufiz presented the key achievements since launching the programs to date. The achievements include supporting more than 15,000 Bahrainis through programs aimed at labour market integration and over 24,650 Bahrainis through career and skill development programs, whereby the average increase within the wage increment program has exceeded ATBD. In addition to more than 8,380 enterprises has benefited from various programs aimed at enhancing their growth and productivity. Additionally, strategic priorities and KPIs for 2025 were showcased, which include supporting 50,000 Bahrainis in the labour market and 9,000 private sector enterprises. The priorities and KPIs are focused on enhancing the competitiveness of Bahrainis in the private sector, equipping Bahraini talent with the skills required to achieve career development in the private sector, and prioritizing support for growth, digital transformation, and sustainability of enterprises. Tamkeen will also continue efforts aimed at developing the labor market and private sector ecosystem to enhance the impact of its support. When it comes to internal operations, Tamkeen underwent a development process to enhance performance and provide excellent customer experience by adopting technology and innovation. This included the launch of a new customer service platform offering a fully digital experience, implementing open banking, introducing e-checks, and many more. Furthermore, to ensure the optimal utilization of Tamkeen's support, a comprehensive plan was implemented to enhance regulatory procedures by implementing several measures, including enhancement of monitoring efforts and integration with relevant partners to minimize any violations, abuses, or misuse of support. Efforts also included the introduction of a new whistleblowing policy, increased inspection visits, and authorizing some of Tamkeen's employees as judicial officers. Moreover, the board approved the new strategy for Skills Bahrain, which is focused on upskilling national talent to enhance contribution to sustainable development. This will be achieved by strategically prioritizing a number of areas, including labor market data, skill framework improvements, and adopting skills-first approach, with the aim of contributing to high-quality training and collaborating with employers to foster a qualified and competitiveness national talent pool. Tamkeen held a press conference to highlight the major achievements accomplished this year, focusing on its pillar aimed at employment support, career development support, and enterprise support. On this occasion, the chief executive of Tamkeen, Mahamufi, stated that 2024 marked an unprecedented achievement for Tamkeen since inception, which entailed the employment and career development of 41,000 Bahrainis in the private sector. These efforts align with Tamkeen's commitment to sustainable economic growth in the Kingdom of Bahrain to implement national development plans, most notably the Government Action Plan 2023-2026 and the National Labour Market Plan 2023-2026 in collaboration with Team Bahrain. The Chief Strategy and Data Analytics Officer of Tamkeen, Ali Al-Ali, introduced Tamkeen's strategic priorities for 2025, focusing on increasing the competitiveness of local talent in the private sector, equipping Bahrainis with the necessary skills for career progression, and prioritizing the growth, digitalization, and sustainability of enterprises. Tamkeen's Executive Director of Programs and Partnerships Development, Ali Hassan, reaffirmed that since the launch of its programs in November last year, Tamkeen has successfully created employment and career development opportunities for 41,000 Bahrainis in private sector enterprises. The Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Isa bin Salman Educational Charitable Trust and Chairman of Tamkeen, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, emphasized that the national workforce of the Kingdom of Bahrain is the foundation of success and excellence across all industries. He praised the capabilities of Bahrainis in driving national development and achieving ambitious goals. Furthermore, His Highness highlighted the critical need for ongoing investment in nurturing Bahraini talent through training programs aimed at enhancing leadership skills and competitiveness. His Highness reiterated the commitment to implementing innovative and specialized initiatives that align with its vision, supporting comprehensive national development under the leadership of His Majesty the King and with the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. At the launch ceremony, attended by senior representatives from both the public and private sectors, His Highness officially unveiled the Skills Bahrain initiative and the Employability Skills Portal, which operate under the umbrella of Tamkeen. He emphasized that these ambitious initiatives represent a comprehensive vision aimed at holistically developing the labor market. This vision is centered on understanding market demands and leveraging data-driven insight to support the implementation of upskilling initiatives in collaboration with various organizations within Team Bahrain ecosystem. These efforts are designed to provide the private sector with a highly skilled national workforce capable of driving economic growth. The initiative strategically is built around the three key pillars. The first pillar, engaged national workforce, empowers Bahrainis with skills targeted at key sectors and high-value roles to ensure their readiness to enter the job market. The second, involved employers, relates to partnering with the private sector to highlight specific workforce needs, skills, and behaviors, and to help upskill and reskill the national workforce. The final pillar, relevant to high-quality training, ensures that training aligns with private sector requirements and an ecosystem in which skills are validated and recognized. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa attended the Muharraq Governorate celebration at Arad Fort Beach Park yesterday, marking Bahrain's national days and commemorating Bahrain's founding as a modern Arab and Muslim state in 1783 by Ahmed al-Fatih and marking the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. His Highness highlighted the importance of national holidays in reflecting on the nation's history, achievements, and the foundations established by the kingdom's forefathers. He expressed confidence in the kingdom's continued prosperity and accomplishments under the leadership of His Majesty the King. He extended his congratulations to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister on the occasion. He praised the efforts of official and civil authorities in organizing the annual national holiday calendar and events, noting that their loyalty and service to the kingdom, government, and leadership are a source of pride for all. His Highness expressed his gratitude and appreciation to all members of the Muharraq Governorate for organizing the celebration and wished them continued success. On behalf of the people of Muharraq, the Governor of Muharraq, Salman bin Isa bin Hindi al-Mannai, extended his congratulations to His Majesty and His Royal Highness on the occasion of the national holidays. He expressed his appreciation for His Highness's patronage of the celebration. The celebration included a variety of activities such as a horse show and a musical performance by the Ministry of Interior, along with participation from students, folk music groups, community organizations, and an exhibition showcasing productive families and handicrafts. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa attended a poetry evening titled Covenant and Loyalty at Haltin Naeem and Al Slata Youth Empowerment Center. The event commemorated Bahrain's founding as a modern Arab and Muslim state in 1783 by Ahmed al-Fatih, as well as the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. His Highness affirmed that Bahrain's national days provide an opportunity for Bahrainis to express their pride and loyalty to the kingdom. He emphasized that Team Bahrain's achievements have advanced the kingdom's development under the leadership of His Majesty the King and the support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He extended his congratulations to His Majesty and His Royal Highness on the occasion and expressed his wishes for continued progress and prosperity for Bahrain and its people under the leadership of His Majesty the King. His Highness highlighted that the national celebrations foster patriotism, strengthen national identity, and enhance a sense of belonging among all, reflecting pride in the kingdom's diverse achievements. He emphasized the importance of sustaining these accomplishments to further development and benefit everyone. His Highness expressed his gratitude to the center's personnel and participating poets and their poems, which conveyed noble sentiments and deep sense of patriotism on this occasion, as well as to all the event organizers. The Shura Council held its weekly session presided over by its chairman Ali Saleh. The session began by ratifying the minutes of the previous session. Then the chairman delivered a speech on the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne and the accompanying national events. The session then discussed the report of the Foreign Affairs, Defense and National Security Committee and the report of the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee. His Majesty King Abdullah II ibn al-Hussein of Jordan received in Aqaba the Arab Ministerial Contact Committee on Syria, foreign ministers of a number of countries and representatives of international organizations, and the presence of the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriates Affairs of Jordan, Ayman Safadi. The meeting included the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and its capacity as chair of the Arab Summit, Qatar, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, US, France, Turkey, the EU High Representative for Foreign Policy, the UN Envoy for Syria, the Arab League Secretary General, and the ambassadors of UK and Germany. During the meeting, the Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al-Zayani conveyed the greetings of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister to His Majesty King Abdullah II, wishing him good health and happiness, and Jordan and its people further progress and prosperity. The Jordanian monarch conveyed greetings and appreciation to His Majesty and His Royal Highness, noting the distinguished relations between the two countries. During the meeting, His Majesty King Abdullah II stressed that Syria's stability is a strategic interest for Arab countries and the entire region, stressing the need to coordinate a unified and effective international stance to preserve Syria's security, citizens, national institutions, and sovereignty, emphasizing Jordan's respect for the choices of the Syrian people. He affirmed Jordan's continued commitment to providing the humanitarian support needed by the Syrian people, stressing the need to create the security, living, and political conditions for the voluntary return of Syrian refugees to their homeland and provide all necessary assistance to this in cooperation with the relevant UN organizations. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al-Zayani, yesterday participated in the joint Arab-Western ministerial meeting called by Jordan to discuss the developments in Syria. The meeting examined the situation in Syria, the extent of its repercussions on security and stability, and ways to support the launch of a political process that leads to the realization of the aspirations of the Syrian people for security, stability, and development, and preserves the unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Syria. At the end of the meeting, a joint statement was issued that emphasized full support for the Syrian people to build a more hopeful, secure, and peaceful future for the region and the world. The participants expressed their belief that the political transition process should be Syrian-led and Syrian-owned and produce an inclusive, non-sectarian government formed through a transparent process, as well as their support for a mandate of the UN Special Envoy and requesting the UN Secretary General to expand the UN presence on the ground. They emphasized full support for Syria and stressed respect for human rights, including the rights of women and minorities, the preservation of state institutions that serve the interests of the Syrian people, the protection of all foreign diplomatic facilities and personnel, and the safe securing of chemical weapon stockpiles. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdel bin Rashid al-Zayani, participated in the meeting called by Jordan to discuss the developments in Syria. The meeting was attended by the foreign ministers of the Arab Ministerial Contact Committee on Syria, formed by a decision of the Arab League consisting of Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Lebanon, Egypt, and the Arab League Secretary General, in the presence of the foreign ministers of the UAE, Bahrain in its capacity as chair of the current session of the Arab League, and Qatar. The meeting discussed supporting an inclusive political process in Syria that leads to a transitional phase in accordance with UN Security Council Resolution 2254 to meet the aspirations of the Syrian people for security, stability, and development, ensure the rebuilding of Syrian state institutions, and preserve Syria's unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. At the conclusion of the meeting, a joint statement was issued that emphasized standing by the Syrian people, providing aid and support to them, respecting their will and choices, and supporting a peaceful and inclusive Syrian transition process. The meeting emphasized the formation of an inclusive transitional governing body by Syrian consensus and the implementation of the steps outlined in the resolution to transition from the transitional phase to a new political system that meets the aspirations of the Syrian people. The ministers underscored the need for a comprehensive national dialogue to build a free, secure, stable, and unified Syria. Under the patronage of His Majesty the King and in the presence of the Minister of Social Development Osama Al-Alawi, This is Bahrain organized its annual festival on the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. The Minister stressed that His Majesty's patronage reflects his constant interest in supporting initiatives that highlight the national values and humanitarian principles, affirm His Majesty's keenness to promote the values of peaceful coexistence, tolerance, and cultural openness that represent the firm foundation of the Bahraini identity. He added that the event highlights Bahrain's achievements in various fields and contributes to sending positive messages to the world about Bahrain's status as a country based on respect for human beings and upholding the values of peace and fraternity. The event included a range of activities that reflect Bahrain's cultural and religious diversity. The Embassy of Bahrain to the UK held a reception and luncheon to celebrate Bahrain's national days and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. The Ambassador of Bahrain to the UK, Sheikh Fawaz bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, delivered a speech extending congratulations to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister. He highlighted that His Majesty the King's visit to the UK at the invitation of His Majesty the King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is a historic milestone in the relations between the two countries. The ambassador noted that Bahrain has achieved significant progress in various domains this year, driven by the royal approach and visions of His Majesty the King, with the close follow-up and support of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister.
2024 marks a special year for His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, King of Bahrain, as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of His Majesty's accession. This significant milestone was further crowned last year by His Majesty's successful visit to the UK at the invitation of His Majesty King Charles, with two monarchs holding warm and friendly discussions at Windsor Castle. Economically, Bahrain has been another strong year, recording a 9% increase in foreign direct investments to reach £33.2 billion, and reinforcing its appeal as a major investment destination. Moreover, the Kingdom has maintained its leadership in economic freedom, ranking first in the MENA region for the third consecutive year, while also ranking fifth worldwide in the ICT Development Index.
Well, first of all, the United Kingdom and Bahrain has an incredibly close and I would say very personal and historic relationship. I know that myself. I've been, very close to Bahrain for well over nearly 2 decades. So it's everything in terms of our security in the region, in the kingdom, and at home here. But the friendship that we have is second to none. And I think that's demonstrated here at this National Day, whether it's security, defence, intelligence, cooperation. It's the people of Bahrain and the strong personal ties that we have that really makes the relationship quite exceptional.
Bahrain and the UK, I think, have a very, very close, long-standing relationship. I know our two royal families share a bond, but also that bond, it links our respective militaries, and of course Bahrain have been a very good friend hosting our naval components. I have enjoyed working with the government of Bahrain, with the Prime Minister, the Crown Prince, with your wonderful ambassador here in the UK, and on my numerous visits to Bahrain, I've always been made to feel like family, not just as a visitor.
Well, I'm delighted that the negotiations for a UK-GCC trade agreement, which I kicked off when I was Minister for Trade, continues to progress. I very much hope that the new government here, along with GCC members, are able to agree that as soon as possible to really unlock the next level of trade between all of our countries. I think the trade flows between Bahrain and the UK are already very strong, but I know it can go even further if we get this deal landed. One of the things I think is fantastic that too few people know is the great freedom that people have, the religious freedom that people have to practice their own faith in Bahrain, and I think that's something that should really be told to people across the UK and indeed around the world.
But it's wonderful to see the strength of our relationship between our two countries with so much history and so much going on around the world. And to hear Sheikh Fayez speak today about what's going on has been absolutely fantastic. It's been a real pleasure, a real honor to be here today.
I am so delighted to be here today for Bahrain's National Day. It's really wonderful to be surrounded by so many friends here, and I would also like to say congratulations to King Hamad on the 25th anniversary of his accession to the throne. It's so great to see all the friendships between the Bahrainis and the people here in the UK just fostering and really increasing here in this room. And I just want to say thank you, and I love Bahrain.
Well, on behalf of the Middle East Association, of which I'm the Director General, I'd like to wish the Kingdom of Bahrain and all the people of Bahrain all the best on their National Day. The historic relationship between our countries is unprecedented. It's very, very close. I visit your country regularly, and I know many British people feel very attached to your country in many ways.
All of my memories of Bahrain are favourite memories. I've been many times and I've seen it change over the years, and I always enjoy visiting. And I've just got back from the Manama Dialogue, which was a very, very successful event at the end of what has been a very exciting and important year for Bahrain. 25th anniversary of His Majesty. We had 20 years of the Manama Dialogue, and you had a McLaren success.
The Embassy of Bahrain to the UAE held a reception on the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the anniversary of the accession of His Majesty the King to the throne. The ceremony was attended by the UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, and the Minister of State at the Emirati Minister of Foreign Affairs, Khalifa bin Shaheen Al Marar, along with a number of ministers, ambassadors, senior officials at the military corps, and prominent figures of the country. The Ambassador of Bahrain to the UAE, Ambassador Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, delivered a speech in which he congratulated His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, as well as to the people of Bahrain, highlighting the significant achievements of the kingdom in various fields. He also lauded the distinguished, deep-rooted fraternal relations between Bahrain and the UAE and its development in all areas, expressing his pride in these relations. The Embassy of Bahrain to Saudi Arabia held a reception on the occasion of Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne in the presence of senior officials led by Deputy Governor of Riyadh Region, His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the Special Advisor to the Custodian of the two Holy Mosques, His Royal Highness Prince Sultan bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. On this occasion, the Ambassador of Bahrain to Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Ali bin Abdulrahman bin Ali Al Khalifa, expressed his congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, wishing them good health, happiness, and many happy returns. He praised the deep and distinguished historical relations between Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, which are witnessing continuous integration, development, and growth at all levels. He emphasized that Bahrain has made many achievements and successes in recent years at all levels. He also congratulated Saudi Arabia on winning the bid to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. The Embassy of the Kingdom of Bahrain in Tokyo held a luncheon banquet on Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne and the accompanying national events. The banquet was attended by the Japanese Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Director General of the Middle East and African Affairs Department, Ambassador Anto Toshihide, Bahraini students studying in Japan, and invitees. In his speech, Bahrain's ambassador to Japan, Ahmed al-Dosari, congratulated His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister on the national occasion. The diplomacy of the Kingdom of Bahrain, led by His Majesty the King, sought to establish and support the Kingdom's constants that support the promotion of peaceful coexistence, the establishment of peace, and the resolution of conflicts through peaceful means and a diplomatic approach. More in this report. A long history of institutionalized diplomatic work for the Kingdom of Bahrain. This diplomacy witnessed a qualitative leap in the prosperous era of His Majesty the King, which started and emphasized on constants that Bahrain has never deviated from, supporting and promoting peaceful coexistence and establishing peace and resolving conflicts through peaceful means. Bahrain has a long history in supporting and promoting tolerance and coexistence. The legacy of the peaceful coexistence and harmonious society is a source of pride for the kingdom and a living model that it offers to the world. For many years, Bahrain has emphasized the importance of peaceful coexistence as a universal value for humanity, and this emphasis was embodied in many initiatives, including the establishment of the King Hamad Global Center for Peaceful Coexistence, which conveyed Bahrain's message to the whole world, in addition to the recent launch of the King Hamad Award for Peaceful Coexistence. To promote regional and international peace, Bahrain took the initiative of the presidency of the current session of the Arab League, which aimed to achieve rapprochement, dialogue, and diplomacy that believes violence has not and will not be a solution to any issue. So the Bahraini call for an international conference for peace in the Middle East came to motivate the countries of the world to engage in the process of spreading peace. In all regional and international forums, Bahrain is keen to participate effectively, and His Majesty the King continues to earn the world's appreciation due to this constant emphasis on the importance of strengthening international cooperation for the progress and preservation of societies. The foreign visits and bilateral meetings held by His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister with many world leaders and heads of governments have been a key driver for constructive cooperation for the sake of a world where cooperation and solidarity prevail for the benefit of all mankind. And for more on this topic, we have the following statement from the Chief of American Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Salman Hassan Al-Jalahma.
Thank you very much for having me today. As you know, this year we celebrate the Kingdom of Bahrain's 53rd National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. This Silver Jubilee is especially significant as these past 2.5 decades has seen tremendous progress and development in diplomacy. Policies and development is reliant on our ability to establish and grow relations with other countries, and the Kingdom has been steadfast in their ability in widening their reach and deepening their relations with the governments and the peoples of the world. The importance of these relationships has been evident on various occasions throughout the year. In May, Bahrain hosted the 33rd Arab League Summit, where leaders of the Arab world came together for a collective push on initiatives that would address regional issues, including resolving the Palestinian issue, providing education and healthcare to those affected by conflict, among others. It is these partnerships that are invaluable when it comes to bettering our standards of living and making a serious commitment to supporting friendly nations. And just last week, Bahrain hosted the IISS Manama Dialogue, where global security matters were discussed and ways to alleviate conflicts were explored. Diplomatic relations were further enhanced during these events as we saw the accession announcement of the United Kingdom to the Comprehensive Security, Integration and Prosperity Agreement, also known as CCPA. This was a major announcement as CCPA is a cornerstone agreement that was signed between Bahrain and the United States last year, reinforcing the commitment friendly nations have to enhancing security, trade, and science. Expanding the alliance reinforces the importance of multilateral relations in regional and global development. Bahrain's journey in diplomacy is historic, important, and necessary. It continues to shape domestic and global aspirations and remains vital in strengthening the kingdom's position for future generations to come.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning continues to make significant achievements that embody Bahrain's vision to improve the quality of life of citizens and support sustainable urban development. More in this report. According to a strategic vision based on meeting the housing demands of citizens with a focus on innovation and sustainability, the Kingdom of Bahrain is taking pioneering steps in building housing cities. Housing projects receive unlimited support from His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, which is reflected on the ground through major housing projects that ensure the quality of life and well-being of Bahraini families. In recent years, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning implemented many projects such as Salman City, which is one of the largest housing projects, Khalifa and East Titra cities as well, in addition to the Ramli project. These cities include residential units and plots with service facilities that focus on environmental sustainability and quality of life, as they are integrated with smart technology in construction to promote innovation in the housing sector. In order to reduce waiting lists and promote family and social cohesion, the Ministry introduced plans and programs such as the Mazaya program, financing programs for land purchase or housing construction, as well as the Government Land Development Rights Program, which was an effective model that contributed to enhancing the role of the private sector in the implementation of housing projects. With these successes, Bahrain has proven its leadership in the field of housing by achieving a balance between providing decent housing for citizens and supporting the national economy, with its commitment to developing infrastructure and service facilities to achieve a brighter future for all citizens. Muharraq City is witnessing the third edition of the Muharraq Nights Festival, which comes in conjunction with Bahrain's celebration of its National Day and the 25th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. More in this report. Muharraq Nights, a festival, reflects the essence of Bahrain's heritage and national identity, and is a continuous celebration of the city's rich heritage that extends throughout its history and its authenticity. The third edition of the Muharraq Nights Festival is the fusion of culture, arts, heritage, and innovation that revives the memory of the Pearling Path, site registered on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This edition of the festival has a special character thanks to its innovative activities and interactive experiences, including arts, design, traditional crafts, artistic performances, and tours, to become a comprehensive and integrated cultural experience that includes all facilities and means and addresses all ages and categories of the public, and its activities are designed to combine originality and innovation in an environment that reflects the unique spirit of Muharraq and its ancient heritage. Organized by the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiquities as part of the Celebrate Bahrain season, the Muharraq Nights Festival highlights Bahrain's commitment to promoting cultural tourism and contributes to enhancing Bahrain's position as a distinctive cultural destination. The National Day Festival, organized by the Ministry of Information at the Heritage Village in Ras Hayyan, continues to attract visitors from inside and outside the kingdom. The festival includes a wide range of events targeting all age groups, including for the first time an operetta celebrating Bahrain's heritage and culture. The festival also includes live heritage performances, including various folk arts and performances of Bahraini artists, in addition to productive families who offer their traditional handicrafts products. The festival is a unique opportunity to enjoy a festive atmosphere that combines entertainment and celebration of heritage in a framework that combines originality and innovation. The streets, landmarks, and intersections of the Kingdom of Bahrain were decorated with the colors of red and white on the occasion of Bahrain's National Day and the anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne. The Ministry of Municipalities Affairs and Agriculture completed decorating the main streets, squares, and roundabouts with Bahraini flags, giving the sites a special aesthetic that reflects the national holidays throughout the month of December.